My wife told me she's pregnant, but she doesn't know I'm infertile.
She's a cheating.
My wife, female 33, and I, male 34, have been married for 3 years, together for 6. She's always been one of the most amazing people I've ever met. No huge fights, love languages match up, and we're both fairly active people, which has been why we've had such a strong relationship. And that's why this is so difficult for me. By the way, this comes from user Throw Away My Spermazoa. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, we've both been doing well in our careers the last few years. She's in marketing, and I work independently as an IT consultant, allowing me to set my own hours and be flexible. How flexible? We decided last year that we wanted to start a family, with her likely keeping her job full-time and me scaling back to part-time. We've both been anxious but excited to have our own kids. Long story short, I was diagnosed with azoospermia last December. A blockage in the pipes it meant I wasn't producing any baby juice. And it's curable with surgery, thankfully. And we finally got it scheduled for July. She has a high spicy sleep drive, and as do I. So we've still been very active. But there should have been no way I could have gotten her pregnant. She missed her period this week. I couldn't imagine that she might actually be pregnant, right? The babies are bottled up until they get the blockage out. She took 3 tests, though, and sure enough, each one was positive. At first, I was stunned because this shouldn't be possible. She's never been unfaithful and never given me a reason not to trust her. I'm not the jealous type either, but I'm literally stuck. The doctor said this couldn't happen. And I can't believe my wife would jeopardize the future we've been so excited for over some fling when we have such a great emotional and physical connection. My wife has been ecstatic. She's given no indication of guilt or worry that she may have cheated. She was so excited when she found out that I didn't express my worries. But she left for work, and now I feel completely torn. What if she did cheat? Looking back now, there are a few tiny things that didn't seem like issues, but now have me racking my brain for clues. Her job often has her taking clients out for dinner, and it's not uncommon for her to get back later in the evening. She definitely had a busy last few months, but that's normal for her job. She always wears one of the same 2 perfumes, but she came back one night smelling completely different. I remember seeing a text message on her lock screen of just a winky face, but assumed it was one of her girlfriends. I don't know what to do. I set up an appointment on Monday to see if there's any chance it could be mine. If it is mine and I accuse her of cheating, I would feel like the world's biggest a-hole. But she's coming home in a few hours, and I don't know what I'm going to say to her. I can't stop thinking of these small things that may have been her cheating, and I just didn't see it. Do I wait until the doctor appointment Monday before talking to her, or do I bring up these insecurities while she's celebrating the pregnancy? I'm worried I won't be able to hide what's going on. I should add, I have been cheated on before. Our relationship has been pretty healthy, but that old fear is creeping back in now. Fair. This is bringing up some old emotional scars, and it's just effing with me. I'm usually never this insecure or uncertain about being straightforward. I think I need to just find some way to bring it up without being accusatory. Yeah, please.
Okay. I think it maybe could be good if you waited for the appointment and got double checked. However, I honestly think if you're going to be worrying about it until that appointment, just sit her down and say, hey, I'm really excited about the baby. I just wanted to talk to you. I'm not accusing you of anything, but you know that I had the sperm stuff, blah, blah, blah. You could even bring up
I don't know. She doesn't.
She doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. She does not know this.
She knew.
No, she doesn't.
Oh,
she has no knowledge of this.
I'd be like, hey, I found out that I'm azoospermic.
Yeah, it's you need to, and I think you can do it without being accusatory, but it needs to be a thing where it's so I literally got told by the doctors that this was impossible. Yeah. And it's I want to be excited, but because I've heard that, I am feeling impossibly confused right now over what I should be feeling. And I don't want to accuse you of anything. But you can see how after me being told that, I would feel maybe a natural skepticism. Comments. I'd say you should wait for the appointment Biology can surprise us sometimes, but prepare for the worst case scenario. OP says, should I take her with me to it? I'm weighing the choices between that and going alone. I'm going to have to bring it up anyways. There's no way I can hide this when she gets back. Another user says, I literally just studied this. So although you've been diagnosed with azus, it means that when they looked at your juice in the lab, it didn't have any little wigglers in it. However, you produce a lot of the juice, and the lab only looks at a little bit of the juice, which usually gives a good response. Usually, you would repeat several times before concluding that diagnosis, although just because the lab didn't see any baby juice, it can mean that you had an incredibly low count, so none of their samples from the sample you have showed any. This doesn't necessarily mean that, for example, in the normal processes of a normal guy having the 30 to 900 million little swimmers, it's usually about 15 million per milliliter. It's possible you maybe even 1,000 little swimmers per milliliter and you would still be diagnosed. Yeah, so okay. So this commenter is saying there is still
very little and still be diagnosed.
It only takes one.
It takes one.
It only takes one. OP replies, goes, man, I hope you're right. I don't remember exactly what they said. But are there any forms that would have a complete lack of a baby juice count? They seem to be convinced that it was completely blocked off, but this was all months ago, and I don't remember exactly what they said. And there is an update. 2 days later, I took a lot of what you guys said to heart. I had an ex years ago who cheated on me, and it really left a scar. It wasn't until I got more involved with sports and getting in better shape that I was able to move on. My wife and I actually met in a soccer league we were in together. We've had so much trust for so long that I thought those fears had gone away. It wasn't until now that I really started to feel shaken like that again. But I didn't want to let my past get in the way of what could be just a huge blessing. A few people really articulated the right way to communicate my feelings without being accusatory and being respectful to my wife, who's never really given me any reasons to doubt her. It's not uncommon for her to sometimes be home late, and she'll usually go straight to bed. I didn't want to dump this on her immediately and decided to give myself a night to sleep on it. I got up pretty early, just being restless, went for a run, and cleared my mind. I couldn't wait any longer. I made our favorite omelets and told her I needed to talk to her about something. She says, I'm not Ashley, right? She knows me well. Ashley is my ex who cheated. So first, I apologized. I apologized because I let this build up in my head for so long without talking with her about it sooner. What should be a blessing has been nothing but insecurity and fear for me. We talked for a while. I told her how happy it made me to see her ecstatic and excited for the baby. I told her how much I loved the relationship we've built together, and I felt like an a-hole for questioning her loyalty. She had never given me a reason not to trust her, and I still couldn't emotionally get over the thoughts of infidelity because of my ex. She thanked me for telling her and knew how hard it was for me to get over that. She volunteered to have us get a paternity test right when he or she is born, which made me feel better at first. But something still felt off. I honestly don't know why. Something about how she was so eager to get a paternity test and almost not mad at all for having kept this from her. Normally, she would have been upset that I didn't bring it up right away, but there was just a weird feeling I couldn't shake for the rest of my day. It seemed like she was saying all the right things, but I couldn't get rid of this clawing feeling inside of my head. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe there's a gut feeling that I need to listen to, but I ended up going to the appointment alone as we decided it would be good to see if I still needed the surgery. Turns out it is obstructive azus. I've read so many stories about people who were supposed to be infertile who ended up getting pregnant, so I brought that up and how my wife's pregnancy was affecting me. The urologist thought it would be pretty unlikely that I wouldn't need surgery to have a kid with how mine was presenting. He mainly tried to skirt around the topic and mostly pushed me towards making sure she was actually pregnant. Being there didn't really help. I feel like I just got more uncertainty. She had another night out until 8:30 last night. We talked about scheduling an appointment to verify the pregnancy when she got home. She seemed a little confused, but then quickly agreed. She promised to do it in the morning. I asked how work had gone, and she gave me a kind of non-committal answer about her boss pushing her too much and being stressed out. Nothing huge there, but she did seem just off a little bit. I really couldn't put my finger on it. We were still acting all lovey-dovey, but something just felt wrong, and I couldn't talk about it without repeating the same conversation we had Sunday. I've been trying to throw myself into work to distract myself, but I haven't been able to focus. We have a joint checking account that we'll sometimes move money in and out of, but really only use for groceries or household items unless we talk about it beforehand. This morning, she moved half of it to hers, about $1,700. We don't do that. She has never needed to do this before. And I checked our healthcare portal. She made the appointment for the time Thursday that I mentioned I was busy working on site. We were supposed to go together. I'm starting to go crazy. How do I bring this up without just having the same conversation again? Well, now you bring it up and you get a little more confrontational about
Yeah,
it.
you're like, hey, what's up with $1,700? What's going on?
I'm looking into getting a second opinion for myself, but I need a litmus test from objective outsiders to know if I'm really losing it or if this seems weird to someone else. We have a second update. I've been trying to center myself. We talked calmly for a bit on the phone, and she claimed she moved the money out in anticipation for the deductible payments she'll have with different visits. I didn't bring up anything else, but she seemed a little impatient with me, probably rightly so, and I implied we'd have a longer talk when she gets home. I'm just trying to not overreact right now. I don't know what to think. This is either a misunderstanding on my side and I'm a father or not. Thankfully, she's not working late today. Update 3.
I literally don't know. It really could go either way. I really don't know.
Why would she make the appointment on the one day he can't go?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? I think that just needs to be a, hey, I noticed that the appointment's on that Thursday. Can we change it?
Can we change it?
And if she goes, no, we can't. It'd be like a,
Why?
But it's like, we can change it. There's literally no rush to do this. We can do it Thursday. We can do it next Thursday. We can do it Saturday. We could do it whenever.
Any day.
Just literally not that day because we have to go together. Update 3. I went for a long run to clear my mind. My wife should be home soon, and I'm going to go into the conversation without judgment, just objectively walking through the facts and why I'm still struggling personally with some of them. Regardless of what happens, I'm done with any confusion left between us. And a note here, OP's asking Redditors for a script to ask his wife. Hi, honey. I was looking at our medical portal to see when might be a good day for an appointment, but noticed that you booked it for Thursday. That's okay. I'll take some vacation and come along. It's too important to be close to you for that appointment. Chat about other stuff briefly, and then, oh, by the way, I noticed you moved $1,700 out of our joint account. Was that for the appointment, or did I miss something? We have some more comments here. Do you have any sick time? Call in sick on the day of the appointment and go anyway. She's technically already kind of agreed to go together, so it makes sense. She can't argue with that. OP replies, I wouldn't want to surprise her, but I think I might wait until she's home and mention I can take the day off and see what she says. Another user says, solid plan. Honestly, I hope it ends up just being a misunderstanding for your sake, and honestly, for my sake, and for everyone's sake. Please, dear God.
I just need it to be a misunderstanding. Please.
It's better to be sure, and it's not as though you're being unreasonable. OP replies, thank you. I'm trying to get all my uncertainty out to make sure I don't just act on fear. I'm a little uneasy how popular the post got, even though she rarely uses Reddit. I'll probably have to take this down eventually. Update 4, 3 days later.
I'm scared.
We've got 93% of pollers saying it's cheating.
I don't want it to be cheating. No.
Use the power of manifestation to manifest that there was no cheating in this story.
No cheating. I know it's Reddit.
Come on.
Please.
Come on now. Come on. 3 days later, we finally sat down after she got home last night. I told her everything that was going on, the urologist, the money, the upcoming appointment. I told her how even with all of her reassurances, there are too many suspicious things that are happening. She agreed how everything looked and immediately apologized. She didn't realize how much my last ex's cheating was still affecting me. She knew I was off going into the weekend, but thought we had addressed that. We talked about it Sunday, but I can get pretty internal with all these worries and not show them outwardly. So while she thought we were communicating, I wasn't. We decided to start from the beginning and go through everything together. The money was the real problem for me. She agreed how inconsiderate it was with where my head was at to do that without mentioning it. Apparently, the prenatal visits are so structured that they want you to set up a payment plan right away, and she wanted to make sure it was squared away to keep the appointment. She offered, without me prompting, to call them with me tomorrow to verify that, or if I really wanted, we could move the money back. She does get better rewards out of her account, so it kind of makes sense. We read up on my condition, and it doesn't seem like they're often invincible force fields. It seems like only the actual absence of the vas deferens guarantees complete infertility, so it's possible for some to get through. We're going to go back to the original specialist I was working with last year and hopefully get a clearer picture. It turns out the appointment she made was the only time they had available soon.
That's what I was thinking. That was and I didn't say it before, but my first thought, having just done like a bunch of PT stuff, is like, it's so hard to get doctor's appointment stuff. Just like in general, oh my gosh, I tried to get a doctor's appointment with my doctor specifically, which I mean, I'm sure she would want to go to her doctor or like a trusted something. And it was like months out. And so I had to go to a different doctor. And then for PT, I had to wait 2 months to get into PT. So like that was my first thought, was that this was just the first day that was available.
And that's why our healthcare is the best, because we pay so much money for it.
Anyway.
Okay. She said it was the only time they had available so soon, and she figured it'd be best not to wait. I told her I took off work to go with her, and she was relieved I could join. Okay.
I don't think she's cheating.
Okay.
I don't think either she's a very good actress.
Once again, she said all the right things and seems genuine about getting us on the same page. After going through each thing, I was just wishing I believed her a little more before. She's stressed out with work and when she'll have to take off, but she really seemed to want to go out of her way to alleviate my concerns. She even offered an open phone policy if I needed. We did look at the text I had seen, and it was just a girlfriend. I declined, though, right now, since I don't want to be that husband. And by the way, you want to be our husband or wife, just listen to us in our full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Just search OK Storytime and you can listen to them all. I swear to God, if
You're
this story doesn't
joking
have an
me.
ending.
I hate if this
You look
story
for another update.
doesn't tell us whether or not she cheated with definitive proof, I'm going to go crazy.
This has really made me take a deeper look at what's in my past and how that still affects me today. Fire. That was a bar. That guy that's cooking. Even thinking back to this weekend, it was so hard to see in the moment how much all the uncertainty was affecting me. That level of anxiety literally makes you question what around you. That level of anxiety literally makes you question everything around you and if it's real. I think trust but verify is the best way to put it. I was just trying to verify without any of the trust. That's all. This has put a strain on our marriage right now, but I'm feeling more like we're a team again, working towards easing that. She thought that a non-invasive prenatal paternity test ASAP was a great idea, as long as we also get some kind of counseling together. I'm not big on therapy, but I can probably agree that it will most likely help. I'm feeling a little better about everything. It's time for me to hopefully be a father. And update 5, the paternity test came back initially positive for anyone that's going to see this.
Okay, wait,
That's his child.
It's his kid.
There's no cheating.
I did doubt it, but I never fully was on the cheating train, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud to say that I only doubted him a little bit.
My husband refuses to rehome his dog, and it's ruining our family.
Get the dog a house, all right?
I, 40 female, have been with my husband, 44 male, for 17 years. We've weathered every possible scenario that typically breaks couples apart. Situations that require years of therapy to recover from. Dang. Yet I stayed time and time again. I can't believe my breaking point is a dog, but it has become the ultimate reminder of how absolutely disregarded I feel in my marriage. By the way, this comes from Green Sunflower 17 on the TwoHotTakes subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go straight to the OK Storytime subreddit. We have 4 kids, with 3 still living at home, along with my oldest son's girlfriend. About 4 years ago, our dog had puppies during her first heat. She's now spayed. We found homes for all but 2 puppies. We decided to keep 1, but ultimately agreed that 3 dogs were too much to handle, so my nephew adopted the second puppy. We were content with our decision. The kids loved the puppy we kept, Dougal, a half Colby Pit and half Blue Heeler mix. He was small, loving, and mild-tempered. Not even a week later, my husband announced that he was driving to visit a friend a couple of hours away, which turned out to be a lie to buy time for an out-of-state trip without revealing his real purpose. When I got home from work, he had my youngest son, 7 at the time, excitedly lead me to his room where my husband and other kids were waiting with the biggest polar bear looking puppy I'd ever seen. When I asked whose dog it was, they all exclaimed, "It's ours!" My husband hadn't brought home just any dog. He'd brought home a giant Great Pyrenees / Anatolian Shepherd crossbreed. I immediately asked him to take it back and questioned how he could make this decision without consulting me. I knew this would become another responsibility for me, especially since he was still military and deployed 3 to 4 days monthly, plus 1 full month yearly. My opinion apparently didn't matter. The dog was staying. Within weeks, this dog named Gregor decided he didn't like Dougal and became extremely aggressive towards him. The attacks weren't warnings. Gregor was out to unalive Dougal. I expressed my concerns and was ignored. This was particularly mind-blowing because our son had been attacked by a dog at age 4, requiring plastic surgery on his face and neck. I wasn't willing to take chances and had to keep them separated constantly. One day, Gregor attacked Dougal so viciously that I had to intervene or it would have ended tragically. Dougal was bleeding everywhere and Gregor bit me during the breakup. We agreed it was best to return Gregor, but that never happened. My husband wouldn't budge. I ended up finding a new home for our sweet Dougal before he or someone else was seriously injured. My kids were heartbroken. Fast forward to today. Gregor hasn't shown any aggression since. He's become a great guardian, loves the cats, watches over the sleeping kids, and really is the goodest boy. His temperament isn't the issue anymore. The issue is that he's been my responsibility for years. If you know this breed, you know that they are not low maintenance. He's 125 pounds with a double coat of long, thick fur that ideally needs weekly grooming with regular brushing between sessions, which he's not getting. I do everything for this dog. My husband walks him before work, but otherwise he doesn't even ask if he's been walked, fed, or if we even have dog food. Mentioning that he hasn't walked his dog starts a fight. I handle vaccines, flea medication, neutering, microchipping, and boarding arrangements for vacations. But the biggest problem is the shedding. Without regular grooming and bathing, the shedding is catastrophic. I'm not talking average shedding, I'm talking layers of long fur on every surface. Clumps bigger than my hand floating around the floor. You can't avoid being covered in dog hair. You need shoes in the house unless you're okay with slobber and dog hair accumulating on your feet. Gregor won't eat from his bowl. He carries mouthfuls of food to various spots, dropping it on the floor to eat and leaving visible slobber puddles. Clothes emerge from the dryer, fur covered. Everything smells like dog. I remove fur from chair legs and furniture daily. Vacuuming has become a daily necessity, taking nearly 2 hours to thoroughly clean our 5-bedroom house with 2 living areas, 2 hallways, dining room, kitchen, and 2 bathrooms. The house is dirty again within hours.
Okay. I have a solution to this.
What's your solution?
Everyone's going to hate it.
I already do.
Say it. Say it.
Not that's, oh no. Gregor's lost. He ran away.
Oh.
Oh no, he ran away.
Oh no.
Where did he go? At what
Yeah.
point, like,
You do, honestly.
at what point do we do that? Because, I mean, the husband's not doing anything. Can you take him somewhere else? Like, give him a stable home, but just say he ran away somewhere?
Honestly, I feel like that's worth it. You gotta get rid of the dog. If your husband really doesn't want that, get rid of the husband. You know? I even have to untangle fur from the vacuum before starting. Oh my god. This consumes hours of my day, every day, just to maintain basic cleanliness. I can't understand how he's content living this way. I work full-time while handling all shopping, cooking, cleaning, budgeting, taking our daughter to multiple monthly appointments and soccer practice, plus yard work. This task has become so time-consuming that I can't complete everything that needs doing, much less make time for myself. I'm losing my sense of identity. This house belonged to my grandparents. We bought the estate after my grandfather passed. Over 7 years, I've personally done most renovations, painting, replacing flooring, refinishing cabinets. I want to come home and find peace in the house I've poured so much into. Instead, I dread coming home because of the work waiting. I don't want company over. Fur accumulates around baseboards and appears on dishes. The house smells with claw marks on windowsills and door frames, dried slobber on floors and windows. I can't keep up. It's embarrassing. I've expressed my frustrations countless times, explaining how drained I am. His response? His job is physically demanding. That statement was demeaning. I may not have physical demands, but I work in mental health and special needs. I spend all day caring for people at work, then come home to more caregiving. I'm mentally and emotionally exhausted. I've asked him to brush Gregor weekly and offered solutions. He agrees to be more attentive, but never follows through. I've tested him by slacking off to see if he'd notice and take initiative, and he hasn't. When I tell him he needs to vacuum, he picks up a fur ball or two. He just picks it up. That's not vacuuming. He waits until I start vacuuming, then acts angry, claiming he would have done it before trying to show me funny videos while I'm cleaning his dog's mess. Recently, I asked him to look at the dining room floor, fur piles literally resembling a blanket under the table. I calmly said, I want you to see this. Tell me if you're really not bothered living this way. This is where we eat. His response? What would you have me do about it? I asked if he was serious and suggested he take responsibility for the dog he insists on keeping. I vented about being burnt out and he said nothing. When I asked him to acknowledge that I was trying to have a conversation instead of remaining silent, he replied, Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know not saying anything was a bad thing. The next day, I texted him about my stress. He simply replied, I understand. Later, during an unrelated argument, he asked, Is there anything else you're upset about? And now I'm going to look for a home for my dog while you continue to bash me. He didn't speak to me for 3 days. For the record, I never told him to get rid of his dog. I said I can't take it anymore, and if he's too tired from work to provide proper care, we need another solution. We already have limited time with jobs, kids, 21 chickens that he wanted, and 3 kittens he recently surprised me with. Yes, 3 unweaned kittens that became my responsibility. I found a home for only 1. When I asked if he planned to scoop litter boxes, silence. Of course not. I didn't ask for any of this. I've grown resentful toward both him and Gregor. Every time I mop or vacuum, I'm in a bad mood for the rest of the day, and I don't want to talk to my husband. I don't feel like I have a partner. It's a reminder of how little he appreciates what I do, our lack of communication and respect, how my needs and opinions aren't considered, and how he makes huge decisions without me. By the way, I hope that you always consider us when listening to your favorite podcast app, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. We've got full episodes with more stories just like this one on there. Just search OK Storytime. Give us a little thought, consideration. That'd be cool.
That would be nice.
There is a little bit more to the story, but
I've realized something in horror movies. That in horror movies, the real thing that the filmmaker is trying to communicate is whatever is happening when the monster is not there. In this world, Gregor is the monster. You removed Gregor. Okay. This is what's actually happening. Like
That's true.
in the movie Godzilla, did you know that it's I was talking to Angie about this. It's a feminist revenge movie because the protagonist is a woman and she's getting pulled away from I think her fiance that's like this like war chief, her dad, and then this young guy that she's kind of fallen in love with. And every time one of them tells her, hey, you should do this with your life, the monster shows up.
Wow.
Godzilla movie are you talking
The
about?
first one.
Like the OG?
The OG.
What is OG?
Like the one in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
I
To
think
look into.
The monster is
Gregor-
in all of us.
yeah. So Gregor is just kind of letting you know, hey, I think this marriage is ready to, and you can't blame Gregor. Gregor was just put in the wrong place.
He's
Yeah,
just
he's
a
just
a
dog
dog.
who just
You-
had a
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't put a crocodile
an
in
untrained dog.
a zoo hoping it doesn't eat all the animals.
Anyway, so yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely not just about the dog, and she's realizing that. And good. That's good. But there is a little bit more to the story. So now I hope he does rehome the dog. If that's his choice instead of stepping up, that's on him, but it won't help our relationship. It'll become something that he holds a grudge over, making me the bad guy who forced him to get rid of his dog. So Reddit's, am I the a-hole for, quote, making my husband get rid of his dog? If you read this far, I truly appreciate it. And there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, OP, it is time to rehome your husband. Comment number 2 says, can't believe he got rid of Dougal. Worst mistake. OP says, this is the part that stood out to me. That poor pup was already established in his family, loved by the daughters, then was attacked in his own home by a new dog, and then tossed to the side for the new dog's comfort and the comfort of the husband. Yeah, that's huge. The first loved pet of a family should always take priority. I say this as someone who has an Attilian Pyrenees and who knows that she is destined to be a single dog for the rest of her life because she doesn't get along with other dogs. Cats, she's fine. Am I going to get one anyway? No! I made a commitment to give her a home first. If I brought an animal into the house that she could not get along with, unfortunately, that new animal must be rehomed. When you adopt a pet, you sign a contract with that animal to protect them. Bringing a new dog in that doesn't get along and is actively attacking your dog is a breach of that contract, and Gregor should have been rehomed, not Dougal. And damn what my husband says. My heart hurts for Dougal, honestly. Comment number 3 says, here's what's going to happen. You're going to contact a lawyer. The lawyer is going to help you quantify your contributions to your home through renovations. You're going to get on top of your finances and prepare for the divorce. They will help you draw up agreements for alimony, child support, and custody. You'll put together the information necessary to garnish these payments through the military in case it comes to that. Then you're going to take all the unwanted animals to different rescues. Now you'll be able to clean your home. Once you do this, he's going to lose it and leave you. You'll be ready to serve him with the divorce.
Yeah.
And boom, that's the end of that story.
I confessed my affair to my husband because the guilt was too much.
It was weighing me down.
I'm 27 and my husband is 26. We got together when he was 17 and I was 19. One of those popular boys I thought was straight, and even if he wasn't, I figured he wouldn't give an overweight guy like me a second glance. He was a jock and I was chubby, but somehow we made it work despite all the hardships.
So these are two dudes.
Two dudes.
Two dudes.
By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, his dad threatened to disown him when he found out about us. My boyfriend told his father how much he loved and looked up to him, how he'd even enlisted because he wanted to be like him. But being into men wasn't something he could change or suppress. Even though he loved his dad, he chose me. We got married 3 years ago and moved into our own place. We split chores, got along amazingly, and have a good spicy sleep life. We make decent money. He earns comfortable mid-5 figures, and with the 7-day security details he's taken once a month, he hits low 6 figures. Those week-long assignments leave me missing him badly. So I try to distract myself. One night, my friends and I went to a bar where I met Maddie, who's 19.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
At a bar.
Uh-oh.
And you're not in Britain land.
Uh-oh. Also, hope he's 27.
They're just talking.
He gave me a lot of attention, which confused me since I find it hard to believe anyone would find me attractive. We got spicy, and it went on for way longer than I'd like to admit.
Oh,
OP.
brother.
OP.
That man's not ripe
OP.
yet.
You suck.
You found an unripe man.
OP. You
Right.
suck.
He sucked.
Last week, watching my husband get excited about the plans we were making for when he returned from his next assignment made me spiral. After he left, I cried for 3 days because I felt like crap. You should. You should.
Because you were hitting the crapper.
Are you coming here for us to feel bad for you? Because I don't. You're a cheater. I cut things off with Maddie and decided to come clean, as you should. He came home yesterday before me. When I walked in, he was all smiles, cooking dinner. No!
Cooking dinner and then hearing bad news. Imagine cooking someone dinner and then immediately after hearing bad news.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He rushed to greet me with a kiss, but I said we needed to talk. Ugh.
Oh, good. We have food here.
He kept kissing me, saying we'd talk after he got a minute to admire me. We sat down. He held my hands, squeezing gently, waiting for me to speak.
Oh, gosh.
When I told him about the affair, he didn't let go, just loosened his grip and nodded. Okay, he said. He got up, ate dinner alone, then locked himself in our bedroom.
He still ate dinner after that?
Well, yeah, he's hungry. He's hungry.
I could
Comfort
not.
food.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Food.
No. If someone told me that, I want to throw up.
That's fair.
probably, yeah. This morning when I woke up, he was gone with all of his belongings. He won't return my calls or texts. I deserve this. I spent the whole next day crying about what happened and how stupid I'd been. I downed a lot of vodka and passed out.
Dang.
This morning, I woke up to noise in the bedroom. When I opened my eyes, I saw my husband getting dressed. For a second, I was convinced it had all been a dream. I'd never cheated, and that grumpy look was just because he hadn't had his coffee and cig yet. But no, my reality was different. He told me I looked like a mess and to shower before we were late. He sarcastically ripped into me for buying the cheapest vodka, telling me to get my taste back since I still had access to our finances.
Hmm.
When I asked where we were going, he gave me the most disappointed look. Did he F your brains out so good you forgot my brother's birthday party?
So, okay, hear me out. I think he's willing to get over this because he's still joking about it. Or is this petty joking?
I think this is petty joking.
I thought it was
Yeah.
where you're kind of going at him a little bit.
No, I think
You're going to get over it.
The thing is that I think right now it seems like he wants to maybe stay together,
Mm-hmm.
at least in the current moment. However, I don't think that he should, because he's clearly, rightfully so, very upset about this.
Yeah.
As I got up to shower, I noticed a small cotton ball on his arm. When I asked about it, he said his dealer was so kind to... I don't even know what that means. To give it to him after... Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Female hero.
Oh. Okay, guys. Mentions of drugs.
Wow.
Trigger warning.
All right.
When I didn't react to his sarcasm, he'd explained he'd gone to the clinic to get tested. Very fair and smart.
Okay, so it was a joke.
It was a joke. Yeah,
It's a
guys,
joke.
it was a joke.
Oh, wow. He's really...
He's saying that he's getting tested for STDs.
So this is
Okay,
how he
great.
copes, everyone, with jokes.
We went to his brother's birthday party. My husband is the second of 4 boys. The oldest is 31. The youngest just turned 17. He's close with all of them, and his niece always says he's her best friend. Watching him play with her broke me even more, knowing I'd never see him as a father to our children. And that's your fault.
Yep.
That's your fault. Throughout the party, he put on a perfect act, talking to me, arm around me, smiling with those loving eyes he'd always have before I confessed. It was just a backyard barbecue, and after 3 hours, we went home. Sitting in our living room, I asked where he'd been the day before. He said he stayed in a hotel, went for a walk, got ice cream and an energy drink, and then sat on a bench listening to music and smoking. Then he looked at me. I was alone. Didn't have anyone with me in there. I knew what he was getting at. I asked if he had any questions about me. The only thing he wanted to know was whether I'd done this during his 5-month training deployment. I told him I hadn't. After a short silence, I asked if he wanted a divorce. Of course you'd want that, he replied. The streets are more fun than these 4 walls with me. I tried explaining that wasn't what I meant, but midway through, he gave me his typical, I was being half sarcastic look. Then he asked if I didn't find him attractive anymore. That made me tear up. I told him I found him very attractive, that he'd been the most amazing husband anyone could ask for, and this had nothing to do with his looks or personality or how he treated me. This was all on me for being a total idiot. I don't think you get to just say you're an idiot. I don't think you get to betray your partner who has been nothing but good to you and then just say, oh, I'm an idiot. You didn't do it because you were stupid. Like that, I think that gives away too much.
I will say, as a man, and I can speak to this because I'm a man and you're a woman and you know nothing about this.
Dang.
I
Where is that?
was going to say, sometimes you think with the wrong head and you do idiotic move because you're just thinking with your wiener head rather than your brain head.
Sure.
So you can be an idiot, but I agree. I
Yeah.
think you should add more words to idiot that you are.
I just don't think, I think that it like lets you off the hook. You know, It's like, oh, I just wasn't thinking. That's why I did it. It's like, no, you can't get off that easily. He said he wasn't planning on divorcing me just yet. Dude, no, divorce him. He was too embarrassed to tell his father after fighting tooth and nail for that man to still see him as his son, someone who'd grown up playing rugby his whole life, someone my husband loved dearly. He didn't want his mother to have a tainted image of me either, so he was planning something. He just needed time to figure it out.
That's sweet.
No. I asked what would happen until then. He said we'd have a marriage of convenience. I could continue living the life he provided, and even better one, since he'd been taking more details for significantly higher pay. And he'd keep up the charade of being a happily married man in front of his family. I could sleep with whoever I wanted because spicy sleep was something I wouldn't be getting from him. Good. I asked if this was his way of saying he'd also sleep around. Shut up, OP. Literally shut up. You don't get to know. Shut up. He said his hand worked fine, and if he wanted someone else, he wouldn't deny himself the same freedom he gave me. When I asked if I'd be taking the couch, he reminded me of our rule. No matter how mad we got, we never slept apart. I don't know what's going on here. I brought up how he locked me out 2 days ago, and he said he'd unlocked it before bed. I just hadn't checked. In our bedroom, I noticed him checking me out, those same eyes he'd get when making a move. But instead, he went to the bathroom and returned in sweatpants and a t-shirt. He usually can't sleep in clothes at all. That small detail hit me hard. Before sleep, I told him I loved him. He paused, then said, I love you more. What is going on? He turned away and I spooned him, something I'd never done before. I'm taller than him and holding him felt strange, like I was suddenly the protector. I kissed the back of his neck. I wish you hadn't told me, he whispered. I would have been happier not knowing I was being made a fool. What is going on?
I don't know. I think
Leave
he's trying
him.
to take the high road and be like the
Leave
bigger
him.
person.
I hate this.
He's just trying to kill him with niceness.
I hate this. He fell asleep in my arms. I stayed awake crying, realizing I wanted to be better to undo the damage I'd caused. I would keep fighting for us until he told me it was too late. And there is an update. I freaking hate this. I want them to break up.
He's taking the high road, trying not to
Divorce.
seem like the villain, but he's thinking of something. But he's thinking of something to do to
Yeah, I think maybe he's planning to
He's
get
planning,
divorced,
he's
but
planning.
he's just like getting
making
everything in
it
order.
seem everything's good. We're still
Yeah.
in love. Everything's all right.
Yeah.
And then you're about to get hit because you broke his heart.
he broke
And
his
he's not
heart,
going to take that
and he didn't deserve it.
like it's nothing.
Update. A lot happened today while I was at work. My first priority was scheduling a therapist appointment, talking to my husband about marriage counseling, and starting to rebuild our life from the ground up. I got home before he did, arms full of groceries since I planned to make him dinner. 4:30 came and went, odd since he usually gets home around then. He finally arrived around 5:40 on FaceTime with his youngest brother. His brother was telling him how he'd been up since 6 a.m. waiting for Playboi Carti's album, which finally dropped 6 hours late.
Ooh, and he's definitely going to be upset with it because it wasn't that good.
He encouraged my husband to listen to it, but my husband said he had, and it was but. His
Like I
brother
said-
said, put OP on the phone. I want his opinion. And my husband replied, you think OP has the right to disagree with me in my own house? When his brother said, of course he does. What? My husband shot back, yeah, if he wants to camp in our backyard. Dude, this is so unhealthy.
Ooh, this
This
seems
is so
very
unhealthy.
controlling too. Now he's going to control you.
It baffled me how he could keep up this act for so long. If he wasn't a soldier, he would have been an actor. After dinner, he was doing the dishes when I poured myself some vodka. He immediately poured it down the drain along with the entire bottle. With hurt
Ooh.
in his eyes, he said booze was destroying our marriage.
Yikes.
I think that cheating destroyed your marriage. He gave me 3 options: see a therapist, check into rehab, or sign divorce papers by Monday. I told him I had planned to suggest therapy anyway. He said it was about time I started thinking. Then he laid out all the times he'd had to babysit me while I was wasted, how he avoided drinking at events because he knew he'd have to drive us home, and how I always turned to booze in stressful times. He said he'd dropped hints for years but avoided being controlling. Looking back, he regretted not putting his foot down sooner. I suggested couples therapy, but he refused. We had to fix this ourselves. I told him how scared I was of losing him, of ruining his life. He said I hadn't even tried to build a life. Duchess Casada says what I'm thinking. I'm confused. Did OP have a drinking problem he hadn't mentioned? That's what I'm saying.
I think so. I think
Oh,
so.
well, Nina Nilsson says, well, OP blamed alcohol for cheating, so I see the point. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Then he grabbed my laptop and opened the novel I started writing in the summer, still stuck on page 60. He asked how I planned to be a writer without writing. I told him I had no motivation, and he said drinking myself to sleep was the reason. He made me sit down and write while he watched me.
That's okay. All right.
What is going on? I wrote a flashback scene of the main character's first kiss, a recreation of our own. He read it and asked if I'd really seen him as out of reach back then. I said yes. He called me a dumb butt for missing all of his flirting. I said I thought he was joking. He asked if I was serious about therapy. I promised I'd start Monday. He said he still wanted me, didn't want to throw away a decade together, and wanted to rebuild. He asked if I'd like to go to that fancy restaurant that opened last summer. I said yes, and he said he'd make the reservation tomorrow. It was getting late, so we moved to our bedroom. He went to shower while I wrote on my laptop. He came back wearing just a towel around his waist, and I couldn't take my eyes off him. I missed his touch more than ever. I hadn't been able to love him since before he left for that week. He lay in bed, saying his back was unaliving him. I put my laptop aside and told him to lie on his stomach. I massaged him for about an hour. Neither of us said a word. When I finished, I kissed his back and moved away. He thanked me as he covered himself with a blanket. He stared at me as I continued writing. When he said he was going to bed, I said goodnight. I love you, he said, and it made me freeze. I wanted to throw my laptop away and kiss him so badly. I felt like he wanted it too, but I was scared of making that move. I told him I loved him too, and we wished each other goodnight. I'm writing this as he snores next to me right now. I feel like I have a clear shot at this now. Getting my husband back is my priority. There's a second update.
Dude,
I
this
don't
is
like-
not going
I
to
don't
work
like
out
you.
because 1, you betrayed him, and 2, he's repaying you back by being very controlling.
There's a second update. The morning felt slow, probably because I was anticipating our date. My husband was heading to the gym, so I made him sandwiches and sent him on his way. He came back, showered, and did chores, washed both our cars while I took care of the garden. When it was time to get ready, I felt butterflies in my stomach. Just watching him get dressed made my heart skip beats. He looked so handsome. At the restaurant, I told him he could drink since I'd be driving home. He said he wasn't in the mood for drinking, so we both had... What?
Spicy flour.
What? You guys are insane. He was excited to try some exotic curry, and I insisted he get something else with it. Something more suited to his taste buds. What are you talking about?
Talking about the Coca-Cola.
But he's always been stubborn as a mule. So naturally, I had to finish my meal and his because he didn't like it, then waited for the burger he ordered. As he put it, sushi is the furthest he'll go with unfamiliar food. We talked for hours, reminiscing about our past, friends we made and lost. He went on about ongoing drama between him, his best friend, and another guy in their friend group who was clearly a bad fit from the start. The only red-pilled dude in an otherwise open-minded group. And I hope you guys will be open-minded and listen to more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Seems like the husband likes where this is because he can guilt you into being a submissive partner
Yeah,
and do whatever he wants with you now.
I hate this. Break up. OP's writing this like it's cute.
Yeah.
And even in the process of like actually writing it, like this is not just recounting events. Like OP's actually trying to write it in a certain style so
Mhm.
that it's more cutesy. And I still hate it. I maybe
Yeah.
hate it more. Break up.
Weird.
Divorce.
I don't like it.
The conversation finally shifted to us. He asked how I was feeling, but I didn't want to dwell on that. I wanted to know what he was feeling. He said he was angry at himself and blamed himself for letting things get this far. I told him there was a zero fault on his part. He asked what I'd do if the roles were reversed. Before I could even think, he said whatever I was thinking was wrong because I'd never been cheated on, so I had no idea what turmoil I'd caused. He said when he was younger, he always claimed he'd never stay with a cheater, but times had changed. The situation was different. The betrayal was harsh, but he understood I regretted it, which was why he was giving me another chance. That, and because I came clean instead of him finding out on his own. I started to apologize, but he stopped me, saying what's done is done, and we needed to stop looking back and move forward. Needless to say, we made out on the couch for about an hour.
Okay, this was totally fanfic. I don't even believe that this was real.
I don't believe it's real. I don't want to believe it's real.
Someone just had a good time.
I want to believe that it's
writing.
fake.
That's
We
wild.
made out for an hour, and that's where he ended. Of course, he's a writer.
I don't
Of course,
like
that's
that.
where he's gonna end it.
I don't like that.
Why?
You guys need a divorce.